Welcome, everybody. I'm still letting people's AI in here. Like, I kind of feel like, Julie, if your note taker's coming, you ought to come and listen live, but um, I'll let it in for this time. Welcome, everyone, to Bubbles with Bethany. I so appreciate you being here with us this week. We have another amazing conversation coming up for you this week live. This week, I'm really excited because a lot of times we have, I don't know, maybe not stuffy guests. Our guests are all lovely and wonderful, but we have this badass professional skateboarder who is world renowned for his technical expertise, 2 gold medals at the X Games, multiple different awards. And some stuff that I actually find even more exciting than that is he's got a line of skateboards to learn with Lutzka, is that right?
Yep,
Uh,
learn with
to
Lutzka.
teach young kids how to skateboard, but he also has a TV show on Fuel Network, also about teaching young kids technical skills and how to get build your brand, build up sponsorships, and just how to make it in this world with this amazing, that create a business out of this amazing hobby that could have been a hobby and now is this awesome business that you've leveraged. And then, shocker, he's also a real estate investor because that's kind of what we do here. So, Greg, thank you so much for joining us on Bubbles with Bethany. I so appreciate you being here.
I'm really excited to be here, and thank you for the nice introduction.
Of course, cheers. I have kombucha today for my bubbles.
I have aqua hydrate.
There you go. Well, that makes sense, doesn't it?
I'm a partner with Aqua Hydrate with Mark Wahlberg, and this is some of the best water on the planet. So, got to stay hydrated when you're skating, you know. So,
Exactly. I love it. I want to get into our regular questions, and just so you all know,
mhm.
if you have questions for Greg, you will have a chance to ask your questions as well. You can put them in the chat. You can use the hand raise function, but as always, I get to go first. So, Greg, I have so many questions for you, but I'm going to start with the question that I always start with, which is you hear a lot of people talking about you and what you're famous for. You heard me just to say a bunch of things that you're famous for, but in your own words, what is your unique superpower?
Oh wow, unique superpower. I mean, obviously, like on my skateboard, I feel like I can skate better than I can walk nowadays. And it's always kind of been that way. I guess unique superpower just being, just never giving up. Like never letting that answer no happen. Even when you get shot down to the ground, whether it's whether it's skateboarding and you're falling down those stairs to get back up to get that trick again, or if it's investing in a property and not getting that property and just, going back in the market to, put down a offer on another property. Or if it's just, business, and sometimes business, doesn't work out, and, you go after writing for companies that you really want to work with, and the team's full or they don't have the marketing budget. And you just you keep on going, you keep going for that next property or that next trick or that next brand to work with. So I guess that's kind of a superpower in itself, of just having that, like, just I don't take no for an answer, and I'm just going to go after it.
That's a really valuable superpower. So let's talk for a second how you've leveraged that superpower to go from winning all these awards, being an amazing technical skater, learning how to develop that into your own brand and working with other world-renowned brands. How have you taken those skills and then turned that into a real estate empire?
Well, I started winning contests at a young age, and I bought my first property. Well, I dropped out of high school when I was 17. So I moved across the country to California to follow my dream for skateboarding. And we'll kind of get into that as we talk about the documentary One Way Ticket. But I didn't have a backup plan, so it was all about coming out here and making it happen. And I started with skateboarding and getting these sponsors. And I was in this movie with Rodney Mullen and Daewon Song called Almost Round Three, and it blew up, and kind of overnight everyone knew who my name was in the skateboard industry, and I ended up getting all these bigger sponsors such as Oakley and Toyota. And I bought my first property at, I think I was got to California at 17. By the time I was 18, 19, I bought my first property. It was a condo in Huntington Beach, which I still have to this day, and it's more than doubled in value. So I've definitely seen the power of real estate and how it goes up over the years. My second property, I ended up moving out of that one and started renting that out. Maybe like 2 years later, I bought another property in Mission Viejo. So I started getting rent money there, and I understanding how the real estate business works, where, okay, cool, now I'm living here, but I'm making money over here. And just happened to be my neighbor at my the new house I bought in Mission Viejo invested a lot in real estate, but not in the state of California. So he bought in Arizona. So he kind of asked me, dude, do you like invest into real estate at all? And I was probably like 22 at the time. And I said, no, not really. I mean, I have a condo that I just rented out. And he's like, well, that's what I do. Cause I asked him kind of what he does for a living. He said, well, I'm kind of retired. I just manage my properties. So he's like, well, I want to tell you something. At this time, this is over 10 years ago. He mentioned these properties are like a quarter of the, like less than a quarter of the price of California. So he hooked me up with his realtor, Jaime, and we started buying. Basically, I started buying properties like one or two every single year, sometimes two or three a year actually. And now I got, I have over 20 properties now. But, over time I'd win contests and then I'd just take that money and I'd put it into more rental properties because I knew the fact that skateboarding wasn't going to last forever. And I knew I didn't have a backup plan to be able to go like work in the real world because I'd never really had a real job. I mean, the only job I had was being a paper boy and that didn't last long. That lasted like 2 weeks. And I got fired from that because it just wasn't for me. And skateboarding was. And I started making money off skateboarding and doing what I love, which was amazing. And luckily, I met someone like Ben that introduced me to investing and how important it is. And at that time, at 22 years old, you don't really think about how important it is to invest at that time because, especially as a pro athlete, you feel like that money's never going to end, right? And anything can happen being a skateboarder or a football player, any of those kind of things, where you're an athlete, you could get hurt overnight. Contracts come up, they don't resign you. So it was really important to me after a certain age, understanding that, okay, I'm going to take this money, I'm going to invest it into assets that are going to make me money later on in life. And thank God I did, because now I'm 39 looking back that I built a pretty good empire, not just in real estate, but also investing outside of real estate into, I'm a part owner at Sessions West Coast Deli, and I'm a partner with 4 locations here in Orange County. I started writing for sponsors like, I did 6 years at Monster Energy Drink, and I did 6 years at Rockstar. And those companies, you get paid monthly, right? But when the contract's up, that's kind of could be it, And I had this opportunity to partner with Aqua Hydrate, and instead of getting any kind of monthly pay, I took ownership in the brand. So I got shares in the brand. So I understand as I got older, I kind of understood like build yourself to invest in more of your future than just the quick buck in the beginning.
Yeah, that's so smart. And I love that you are taking that knowledge that you've learned and building on that to teach the up and coming generation that, hey, get technically good at your sport, but also learn how to build a foundation to build your empire on just in case,
Yeah.
or even just, it eventually you're going to just stop doing it eventually. Right.
Correct.
Or if you want to. And so I love that you're teaching the next generation that so many things you just said. First of all, did you realize that we're neighbors?
I
We should
didn't.
have done this, we should have done this
Cool.
live. I'm in Irvine.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I'm in Lake
Yeah.
Forest now. So yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
so not far.
we're just up the street from you at Great Park. And I've been to your restaurant, which is fantastic.
Sessions. Which one? The one we have probably the Irvine one. Woodbridge?
Woodbridge. Yeah.
Woodbridge, yeah. That was the first one that I invested into, and now we have Mission Viejo Mall, we have South Coast Plaza, and we have Fashion Island. So they've been doing really well. And I started wanting to diversify, and I love sandwiches. And Matt was a really cool dude when I met him, and just we vibed. He skates, surfs, snowboards, into all the similar things. He loves sandwiches. I love sandwiches. So it was just like it was kind of cool, like how that all happened. And now I'm a partner in that as well. So and I'm there all the time.
That's fantastic. All right.
Yeah.
Well, I'll just linger around there and stalk you. Can you sign this?
Yeah, they're
I
great
really,
sandwiches.
they are very good.
They
There's
are, yeah.
one that's fantastic.
Sometimes I go in there because I'm like invested in the company, but then I'm getting my sandwiches, and obviously I don't really pay when I go there. So I'm like, I'm just taking out of my own budget of what I invested. No, they're great sandwiches. I really love the business, and it's a great team over there, and very grateful to be working with that whole team with Sessions. I mean, it's been amazing. It's been now we're 10 years in the making. So we just released a surf film. We have a whole surf team. So we support a lot of the kids that surf in Newport Beach, Huntington Beach, and they all get free sandwiches at our restaurant. So it's really cool.
Very cool. No,
Yeah.
that's awesome. You're doing so much for the community, and you're doing so much for the kids coming up in skateboarding, and it's just a good lesson. Even if you're not into skateboarding, it's a good lesson with just kind of a cool, interesting story behind it for kids to learn how to to invest or just build a brand and build a business, because the world's changing, and you don't just get a job and work 9 to 5 until you retire and get a nice pension and leave anymore. I don't know anybody who does that anymore. So
Yeah.
we have to learn how to live in this world that we're currently in.
Nowadays, everything's remote. So you almost got to like, there's so many ways you can make a living online now too. It's crazy. Like,
Sure.
so it's nuts. I think it's more about, my passion was always skateboarding and then it led into other things. And one of the things I'm launching right now is actually called a skateboarding masterclass where, we do it online just like this, and we're gonna have people from all around the world, kids from Australia, Japan, Europe, America, and I'm gonna go on there once a week and go live like this right here in my office at my house and teach them how to get sponsors. How do you negotiate those deals? What do they look like? How to get into those amateur contests? All those kind of cool things that weren't around when I was a kid growing up. There wasn't a pro skater that taught me all that. I kind of learned on my own over the last 20 years. And I'm really about people uplifting people in life, I call it, and I learned that from Al Partnan. Shout out Al Partnan from Millennium Skateboards. That gave me my first opportunity as an amateur skateboarder to come to San Diego and stay at his house on his floor, on his couch, I should say, and follow my dream for skateboarding. He helped put a lot of those connections together, and I want to do the same for the next generation of kids, and that's what the skateboarding masterclass is all about. And that's going to be on the school platform. That's the SKOOL platform. If you heard of about it, but it's a really cool platform, and it's going to be something really unique that hasn't been done in skateboarding. So it's really cool.
Yeah, I think everybody on here has heard of the school platform. I think everybody that I know heard about it probably following Alex Hermosi.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
So I'm building out right now. We're looking at launching here in the next week or two. So I'm really excited about it. And we're going to tie it into the TV show. I have a TV show on Fuel TV called Next Gen Skateboarding. That's kind of like American Idol hits skateboarding, I would say. And it's a competition and elimination show, right? And I bring in a lot of my sponsors that help put this thing together. And the winner, season 1, the winner won a diamond necklace from Darren at the Fight Foundation. He got a free trip to Tampa Am, which is the world's largest skateboard competition. He also got $5,000 cash. He got a 1-year sponsorship from Aqua Hydrate. He got free kicker audio speakers. He got tech decks. I'm partnered with tech decks. I have my own line of fingerboards in the marketplace. So I bring in a lot of the sponsors that I work with. And then also all the kids that I see that have a lot of potential in skateboarding, give them the opportunity to be on national television, show their skills, compete against other AMs, and learn a little bit about the business of skateboarding and how cool it can be and how it can change your life. And if you can make a living doing something you love, I mean, that's the goal right there. And skateboarding for me was everything, So
Yeah,
um,
I love that.
yeah.
So, you said you moved out here from the Midwest. Did I see that it was Michigan or somewhere else in the Midwest?
Michigan is where I've been buying some rental properties, just because, it's a good place to invest. But I'm actually from Milwaukee, Wisconsin, which is a beautiful place too. And it's funny because my neighbor Chris over here, across the street from this house got me into investing into Michigan. So my other neighbor got me into Arizona, and then this one got me into Michigan. And we invested also into a storage facility. And that one is in Ohio. So he's always over here and we're talking about real estate, and he's really into the storage thing. So I invested with him in a facility. I didn't want to personally manage it. And then also for my rentals, I have pretty much a property manager that takes care of it all. And then I oversee it as I can focus on my next projects and things I love, and have the real estate thing kind of managed by a management group. And then I oversee it, and it doesn't take up a ton of my time because life is short. You want to enjoy it, but you also want to have that passive income coming in where you can have the free time to be able to do what you want and do what you love every day of your life.
Absolutely. That's a great plan. I love it. I'm from Ohio. That's why I was asking. I left the Midwest to come to California as well.
Same thing. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Left the snow to the sun and sunshine.
Exactly. Exactly. And my family's like, it's so expensive to live here and or live there. And I was like,
Yeah.
that's the weather tax is what I call it. And I'll
Yeah.
gladly pay it to
Yeah,
live.
my parents are kind of similar. It's one of those things that, life is short. You got to enjoy it. And this is a beautiful place to live. I love Southern California. I would have not made the career I've made without moving to California or met people along the way that even got me into investing into real estate. It wouldn't even cross my mind. Or, I probably would have never got the sponsors to have the money to be able to do it either. So California is, dropping out of high school, it sounds like a crazy idea. And it was a crazy idea at the time. But it was probably the smartest move I ever made in my life. And I learned so much. I mean, I was traveling at 16 to Europe, and I came back and the school teachers were like trying to teach like what some of these places I've actually been to. And I asked the teacher, "Hey, have you actually been to the Berlin Wall, or have you been to some of these places?" And no, I haven't. And I'm like, well, I kind of actually have been there. And, some of this information is kind of, I don't want to say false what you're saying, but, you learn a lot more when you're actually there. So that's when I kind of like walked out the class and I was like, I'm moving to California to follow my dream and travel the world. And I learned in the school of life, I call it. So I learned from a lot of guys like Chet Thomas, Rodney Mullen. Those guys got me, along my way where I created my first business. I created an S corp, so the company started paying the corporation instead of myself, and then I had tax write-offs, and really learning at a young age how to run a business, and be self-employed.
I love that. I love that. Well, okay, and that kind of leads me to the next question that I always ask people. And one of the things that I am passionate about is building this community of like-minded people that are all trying to build what I call conscious wealth. And when I started asking people about that, I was learning that everybody has a different definition of what that means to them. And if I'm going to be successful in building a community and providing within that community things that light people up, I probably should know what the hell it means for them. Like, what is that? So I always ask people when I have them here, what does wealth consciousness mean to you?
I mean, for me, for me, it's about freedom. At the end of the day, like I love skateboarding and I skate whether I would get paid doing it or not. You know what I mean? It just was one of those outlets that I was able to do what I love for a living. And wealth consciousness means like, how I'm investing in real estate and having the ability to know that, hey, look, I have some passive income coming in here. I think it's so powerful that I'm able to do what I love at the same time, even if I don't get paid from sponsor skateboarding now. You know what I mean? So like I brought it to a point where now I got money coming in from real estate. I don't have to focus on the pressure and the sponsorships of, those contracts coming up or having to win those big contests or any of those kind of things are kind of off where I don't really think about it as much anymore. Because, when you like, I love skateboarding, but when you start getting sponsored and you get into it, it can take the fun away from it when you have a lot of pressure on you to always have to be on top. You know what I mean? So you got to figure I was winning X Games and Do Tours and all these crazy medals. And it's like the next year wasn't getting easier. You know what I mean? Because like
Right.
the judges were seeing the tricks I was doing. So they started learning my tricks. So then I constantly had to learn new tricks, and then you had to be consistent with them. And then you're getting older and you're getting hurt, and that pressure just leads up. So, um, it's a scary thing, So, for me, it's about the freedom. And now I feel like, I have, where I can just skate for fun, and I have some other avenues going for myself, where it brings in that passive income. So yeah, it's all about the freedom. And if you can set up ways to make money doing what you love for a living, and then be able to have the opportunity to invest, that's what I highly recommend. So you can have that financial freedom.